Hey there, YouTubers. What we got today is Matthews Cobra 148 FGTL DX. If I remember correctly, these were the fake ones, but we'll find out when we get inside of it. Needless to say, they were still a nice little piece to have, you know, mainly just a collector standpoint. Other than that, you know, I'm not a big fan of the export style sideband radios. They tend to drift too much. There's not really a cure for that. I mean, as you can see, it's started out that frequency when I put this straight up and down. It was on 5.8, and as you see, it's steadily bringing itself down. And I mean, that's what they do. There's no real fix for that either. So, but let's get on with it. Matthews complaints. He wants me to do my stuff to it, and sideband. People are telling him on sideband it doesn't really sound real good. So after checking it all out, I kind of can see some of the reasoning in it. But let's just go on with it. I got the scope already on, so we're going to hit it. And it doesn't look bad. It's not like most of the ones I see come through here where they're all flat topping, but the negatives aren't real healthy on this. So that could be some of why it's not really sounding real good. I mean, it's 100 and almost 140% maybe, somewhere in there, I would say, 130, 140. But the negatives need a little bit more curvature to it. Now, there's the frequency. And like I said, when I started with this, it was at 590. As you see where it was at, you know, it's dropping. So, and that's the nature of these radios. Now, we're working a 50-watt slug, so... yeah, got 10 bird. In the peak side, we're on the 50-watt scale over there, so... maybe 38. So, and then I got my icon up here on. So we're in lower sideband right now. So let's flip this over to lower sideband and look what happens. So it needs an alignment for sure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this is what it sounds like in sideband. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It doesn't look too bad on the scope. 1, 2, 3. Just sounds to me like it's all frequency. And let's go to upper. Okay, upper side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's off a little bit. We'll go through this thing with the service manual and realign this thing properly. All right, we will be back with an update, guys. All right, back on Matthews radio. Limiters are all intact, which is cool. I have no problems with that. Just a plain diode jumping across there. That's why he's flattened in the middle. And the other reasoning in it is somebody has jumped the final. Bad move in these radios. You can make decent power without having to do that. And it actually wasn't making that great of power. So, alright. We'll be back with an update, man. Alright, guys. We're back on Matthews DX 148. This is nothing but basically like a Galaxy 99 or one of those radios. I mean, as you see, it's not no real Cobra. It's like I said, it's one of those fake jobs. There's the motherboard in it. So, and it's a relatively new radio, within the last 10 years or so, because it's got transistors in it instead of the MOSFETs. But what I wanted to get at here is this thing. One of his complaints was sideband. And it was really off on sideband on a few things. You know, for one, the VCOs were all adjusted wrong. But then what got me is it just didn't sound right over the air. Even though after I did the alignments and everything per the manual, it still just didn't sound right. It just had this you know, noise to it that I didn't like, which is kind of accustomed to these export style radios anyways. They're not really great sideband radios per se, but one of the things I really found out is somebody had the two sideband adjustments not right. One of them's for your power, one of them's for your ALC, and they just were not adjusted correctly. I've got them going now, and what we got is a two-tone 1K two-tone generating, and as you can see, it's right there on the scope. I mean, it's perfect. You can hear through the receiving radio. So, and we got it. So, you know, that was the big thing there. I don't know who adjusted this radio before, but it was just so out of whack on some of the settings, it wasn't funny. But here's a little listen to it just through the ICOM. 1, 2, 3, break, break, break. Hello, radio. 1, 2, 3, breaker, breaker. And, you know, there you go. So, we got that part done. Let me get the lids back on this thing, and then we'll give you a show of what all it's doing on AM. But sideband, there you go, Matthew. It's good to go. Nobody should be telling you that you sound like you're... As long as you keep these at 12 o'clock. Of course, you might have to clarify somebody in. That's the other bad thing about sideband is so many different people adjust them. So you have to go off of, you know, their kind of equipment. Not saying that theirs is perfect, mine's perfect. You know, I do have all my test equipment usually calibrated once every 2 years. And matter of fact, it was just last year that I had everything calibrated in here. So with that being said, I know I should be pretty well on the money with these things. But give me a minute. Let me get the 10s on it, and then we'll show you what she's doing. All right, Matthew, back on your radio, man. All right, let's go down through everything what we got going on now. Reference signal on the scope. And there we go. It's kind of weird when it first keys up, but after that, it's good to go. But I don't know what's... Yeah, okay. It's like on the verge of trying to flat top, and I don't know why it's kind of doing that, but let's see if we can set the mic gain back just a hair and see if that's what it is. It's just a pinch. I'm not seeing no power fluctuation, so... Alright, give me a second. Let me go find out what's up with this. Alright, guys. Back on it. Ended up finding out that it's a capacitor. Kind of weird, but these are the capacitors I changed out in it, because he wants to do the iPad audio eventually down the road. So you know, we hi-fied it, but apparently I didn't have enough solder around one of the caps, and it was just intermittently hitting. Good thing for testing stuff out. I guess when I put the lids on it, I kind of moved the radio a little, just enough for it to contact here and there. But back on it, reference signal, as you see, and it's higher on the percentage too. That was the other thing that got me. The percentage wasn't right, but it's right there, right at the 200%. The negatives look great. It's wonderful. Everything looks good. Let me switch hands. I'll give you all a lowdown on what it's doing here. We're at about a 2-watt dead key now. Let me get up on it some. We're at about a 2-watt dead key, working a 50-watt slug. So here we go. And remember, before it was just doing about 10 RMS with the final jumped, and that BS diode jumped on the AM regulator. So here's what it's at now. Yeah. So 14 RMS at the 2-watt dead key. And then PEP mode. Remember, this is a sideband radio, so I wouldn't expect it to knock it out the park, but you know, good 40 to 45 is generally what I usually see out of these type of radios. And actually, it's going to make me out to be a liar. It's going to do more. This is transistors, so, but it is in the export configuration. Let's see what it's doing now. 56. Wow. That's crazy. Well, hey, good. That's a good job. But we went through it. I did let you hear it on sideband earlier, so let me flip this back over. Lower sideband with the lids on it. 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. Audio. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Break, break, break. Audio. Breaker, breaker, breaker. Audio. Break, break. So there you go. All done for you, Matthew. We went through everything on it for you and got her all lined up, and just you know, as long as you leave them at 12 o'clock, you know you're dead on. If it's the other guy telling you you're not, it's definitely most likely him, because I do some sideband talking myself. So you know, I've heard them guys claim this and that, but I use my SDR receiver a lot of times, and it's usually them that's off. But there you go, Matthew. Old Stickman at the New Name CB shop. If this is something that you have that you'd like to have done, give me a shout. We'll help you out. We'll see you. Bye, bye, bye.